South Africa has proudly added 3 new World Heritage Sites recognized by UNESCO. The 46th session of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee announced World Heritage status for the 3 new sites in South Africa, 2 in the Western Cape and 1 in KwaZulu-Natal. The 3 sites are the Diepkloof rock shelter close to Elands Bay in the Western Cape, Pinnacle Point Site Complex in Mossel Bay in the Western Cape, and the Sibhudu Cave in KwaDukuza in KwaZulu-Natal. These sites now join the country's existing heritage landmarks. To talk more on this, we are now joined by Ricardo Mackenzie, who's the Western Cape Minister of Cultural Affairs and Sport. Minister, thank you for your time. So what makes the 3 new World Heritage Sites in South Africa unique and worthy of this prestigious recognition?
Thank you and good afternoon from India for having me. If I can just say there's 2 World Heritage Sites nomination, but I can understand why people are confused. The 3 sites is 1 World nomination, and then the second World Site nomination is the 14 properties linked to the Nelson Mandela legacy and liberation, and that's why those 2 are 2 separate worldwide heritage nominations. But the 1 site is 3 sites, 2 in the Western Cape and 1 site in KwaZulu-Natal, which is the 1 world nomination. And what makes them so special is this is where humanity started thinking. This is where humanity received cognitive abilities, and that is what made them so special as a World Heritage Site.
And what are the anticipated benefits of these new World Heritage destinations for local communities and the country as a whole, particularly in terms of tourism and economic development?
I think first of all, just to add what makes them so special, it's important that we all as South Africans now recognize the world has now confirmed that this is where it all started. It started in South Africa. The cognitive abilities of humanity worldwide started in South Africa. So South Africans, we should all celebrate that and own it. But what it means for local communities is the world wants to visit these sites. So obviously we should do a short left, as we call it in South Africa, and visit these sites first and urgently. But the world would want to visit these sites because they want to come home to see where it all started. The 2 sites in the Western Cape and the 1 site in KwaZulu-Natal. So local development, local job enable, local economic development, these are all things that can come from the fact that these sites is now a World Heritage Site.
And let's talk about the ripple positive effects of having these sites. You know, it would seem like this will be creating more jobs for people, or maybe just talk to us about the number of jobs that it's created for the people.
Well, the first thing is this site, the fact that it's now a World Heritage Site, gives you access to global funding. The Africa World Heritage Site is in a critical fund, who's been a critical partner for us, and obviously the world we now know and we always know is specialist in helping funding protections of these sites. So what we should do, certainly in the Western Cape, and I know my colleagues in KwaZulu-Natal will do the same thing, is continue to now establish roots, cultural, the cradle of human culture, that we want to get more people, more tourist guides, more something as simple as a B&B in and around these areas, because, for example, the site in Elands Bay is very remote, and I know Sibhudu case as well. So as the same matter of urgency, all of us will need to work to develop tourism routes around those areas so that more jobs can be created. The exact number of jobs, obviously at this point we can't say, but with the World Heritage status and millions of tourists who want to visit these sites where humanity's cognitive ability started, we will start quantifying these while we start encouraging and building local economic development around these areas.
And, you know, Minister, it's all a good news story for a local that's probably just watching this conversation between me and you right now. They would be asking themselves, yes, it is a good news story. Yay, these are new heritage sites, but how does it benefit me as a local?
Well, how it will benefit you as a local? Let's take, for example, Elands in the West Coast that I visited recently. There we encourage local people living in the area to start becoming, for something as simple as a tour guide. Learn more about these sites. The Elands Bay Museum will do the necessary training and development of the individuals that want to become tour guides of Elands Bay, and I know my colleagues in KwaZulu-Natal certainly do the same. So that is job enablement. The second thing is, if you have a home near one of those sites, I personally would certainly want to encourage it to start getting your house ready, start beautifying your house, and obviously become a B&B, so people from the world wants to come there and stay there. Third thing, if you're known for making food, so if you're in Elands Bay and you know the auntie that make roasted cook or fat cook or something like that, I would certainly encourage you to start doing that more and speak to the Elands Bay municipality, Elands Bay Museum, so that people know who you are. So when the world come and visit, they can start and enjoy your local produce.
All right, that was Ricardo Mackenzie, Western Cape Minister of Cultural Affairs and Sports, speaking on the new World Heritage Site, courtesy of the Western Cape Department of Cultural Affairs and Sports. Thank you so much for your time on the program this hour.